when they first start cutting, you go, oh man, this is going to look terrible. To get done, you go, that looks good. Kind of like when I need a haircut, like today. I'm going to go get a haircut today.
Real estate agent Mark Crum has only lived on Shaver Lake for about 2 years.
I'm not a local until you get to 10.
But he has still noticed the once green forest in the area looking very dead and brown.
4 years of drought, bark beetle.
Although most would be annoyed with the chainsaws and delays on the roads.
Yeah, it's just what's going to happen.
He isn't.
We're clearing out these trees to remove the danger along the roadway to make commute safer for motorists.
It is part of the Caltrans emergency tree removal project. It was supposed to end before Memorial Day weekend, but extra funds were moved to the project so it could continue for several more months.
In Madera County, we've removed over 15,000 trees along State Route 41 and 49. That project just wrapped up at the end of May. We had some savings in that account, so what we did is we transferred money to extend the project here.
So far, 4,500 trees have been removed. Now, Caltrans added $3 million to the Shaver Lake project, which means visitors and residents will have to stop a lot more along Highway 168.
We're on about a 5 to 7 minute pace. Traffic's moving through at a very good pace.
Trees are removed Monday through Friday, and crews are usually done by 5 p.m.
It's necessary, it's okay.
Crum says he is happy to see more of the green forest come back.
You look at it and goes, doesn't really look like you cut a whole lot of trees. I mean, it looks nice.
So when I came over here, was picking up around the trailer and I seen something laying on the floor, so I picked it up and it was a GoPro. And I was like, where'd it come from?
A several $100 GoPro camera isn't something you would normally find in your backyard.
I picked it up, walked inside with it.
Jose Ramo found the camera last week. He knew it dropped here from somewhere.
So I was pretty amazed, man.
He was eager to see what exactly it was filming.
I got one clip of it, recorded with my phone.
What he found were clips like this from what appears to be footage from an airplane.
Got pretty excited. He was stoked that, it was a pilot.
He knew his chances were slim, but he wanted to find the owner.
That's why I was like, you know what? I need to get this back to him.
He made a post on Facebook with a little clip and it took off.
I believe it was like 97 times it got shared within like the first hour or so.
One share led to the next, and through a pilot Facebook group, Ramo was contacted by the owner.
He was pretty happy that he was able to get the GoPro back, man. He said he thought he might have dropped it somewhere in the desert because of the flight, but I told him it ended up landing in my backyard, so.
We spoke to the pilot, who did not want to interview due to his profession. He shared this flight footage with us and told us he did not think he would ever get this GoPro back. He offered money, but Ramo didn't want it. Instead, he is doing something else.
Now he actually said I get to fly in this plane this weekend.
He says he still can't believe something from the sky landed here in Visalia. He was able to return it.
It doesn't happen every day, man.
In rural Kings County,
I think it's just too important to turn away.
there's a plot of land lined with wooden stakes.
High-speed rail came out and put the exact path where the train tracks are going to actually be.
The high-speed train will eventually be darting right through Brad Johns' tomato farm and his house.
It's a win-win from, I can't think of a negative, period.
The rail authority bought part of his land and his home to have it demolished, so he is now moving into another home on his property. He says water storage has been a struggle for the area and the state, but he says high-speed rail is helping with just that.
You are looking at 1/2 mile by 1/2 mile of a recharge basin, 20 foot deep.
Johns is one of many farmers up and down the state who are giving dirt off their property to build high-speed rail.
So it's spending, one pot of money, but the other, issue also benefits from it.
The 3 million cubic yards of dirt taken off Johns' property will leave a big hole. It will store water that can be used for farming or recharge the surface water supply. After spending thousands on several wells recently, Johns hopes a basin will help keep the water table high.
The topic started to come up when we were talking to the irrigation districts.
Using nearby dirt will also cut costs for high-speed rail. Johns' property is right on the Kings River, so filling the basin during flood years will be easy.
A lot of these areas are experiencing ground subsidence from overpumping. Recharge is the only way to slow that down or stop it.
John says this will be a major change, but he sees a benefit from the train construction here in the valley.
Keeping the water local for food. Plain and simple.
John says they will start moving dirt on his property here in Kings County this July after tomato season. Reporting in Kings County, Joe Moeller, CBS 47 Eyewitness News.
This small plane at the small Mariposa Airport is giving people a bigger-than-life experience.
A 4-seat airplane.
Meet Stan Wheeler. He is one of the pilots at Airborne Aviation Services.
We're coming from the south.
He is taking us roughly 10,000 feet up to get a bird's eye view of Yosemite National Park.
Kind of a dome-shaped thing. That's half dome.
The hour flight takes off from historic Mariposa to the park, and this is where we see it all.
This gets you the ability to see a whole lot more of the park without the hike.
Tourists from all around the world who come here, and even local residents, now have a new way to see Yosemite.
You can still see the features of all the cliffs and the waterfalls and so forth, but you can see everything beyond them as well.
From high in the sky, we see Half Dome towering over the meadows below, and visitors driving through the park.
And yeah, this big rock here is El Capitan.
The pilots know the lay of the land and explain what passengers are looking at out their window.
Yeah, we're looking at Tuolumne Meadows, which
The
is
owner of Airborne Aviation Services and airport manager Anthony Borison says he wanted to show people what he has been seeing for years.
When I first flew over it, I thought, man, everybody should be seeing this.
He recently was approved by the FAA to give scenic tours.
Folks that can't hike anymore or are not able to really see the perspective like a bird would see can still do that today.
The Yosemite flyover operates year-round, depending on weather, of course.
Interesting, because you're seeing the canyons like you've never seen them before.
Yeah, you see everything from above instead of looking up.
Wheeler says many will see a whole lot more of Yosemite in an hour than most do in a lifetime. One by one, crews are taking the dead brown trees out.
Very nervous, all the time, every year, every summer is like this.
The communities along the Highway 180 corridor, such as Pinehurst, are far too familiar with wildfire dangers.
The rough fire really woke us up to the potential.
Last summer, Fresno's largest wildfire on record, the Rough Fire, was only miles away from Pinehurst and nearby communities. People here were forced to evacuate.
And the fear became reality.
Monday, residents in the area and the Oak to Timberline Fire Safe Council launched a tree removal program to help avoid another wildfire.
Our goal is to basically make everybody aware that it's here. Do your clearances, do them safely. Make the community as fire safe as possible.
The nonprofit works to spread awareness. Organizer Sandy Cates says they hire crews to remove the trees that have been killed by the bark beetle. It is all made possible by grants and donations. Right now, they are spending $100,000 in this area alone.
When I look up there, all I see is fire.
She says the bark beetle has killed thousands of trees in the Pinehurst area. She says the Fire Council is taking applications from residents to help remove dead trees on their properties.
People are very upset that the trees are dying.
Moeller Mmj has to remove a dozen trees off her property, but she knows this program may help save homes and lives.
It's great. We really need this kind of advocacy in our communities.